All right, what's going on, everybody? Good morning. Good morning. Well, I was watching video yesterday from 78 Sports TV. I'll give him a shout out. He did the interview. Whether you liked or disliked the video, he had got the access and he was able to talk to Deontay Wilder, and it was interesting to hear some of the things Deontay Wilder and Malik Scott was there as well. It was interesting to hear what both of those gentlemen had to say. But while I was watching the video, I was saying to myself, wow, this is, I think, maybe the second or third video this month or within a short time frame, within a month's time frame, that I'm seeing Deontay Wilder, do videos and do interviews with 78. And I think he was on I'm not sure if he was on Barbershop Conversations recently as well, but he's been doing a lot of press with these YouTube channels, obviously the ones that he likes, the ones that are favorable towards him. And I'm noticing as the fight gets closer, he's starting to talk more and more. I'm starting to see that. Whereas everyone knows he went on that hiatus where he wasn't talking at all. He was quiet. He went silent, right? He went radio silent for months. And even at the press conference, he went radio silent. And now, all of a sudden, you're seeing him doing a lot of talking now to these YouTube channels. But Fury has gone dark in the shadows, right? He's not talking anymore. It seems like he's deep into his training. You would get the impression that maybe he's, all the talking's done. Now we're deep into the training camp. We're going to focus on getting everything right with the tactics, with the conditioning or what have you. There's no need to talk anymore. Now it's wartime. That's the impression I'm getting from the Fury side. But what I'm getting from the Wilder side is now they're putting themselves in these controlled environments, like with 78, Barbershop Conversations, all those guys, him and Malik Scott are putting themselves in a situation where these guys are just going to gas them up. When we listen to 78, again, I'm just going to be honest. He's sitting there just gassing the guy up. I'm not saying you got to attack him. You don't got to come at him in a hostile way. You don't have to put him on the spot. You don't have to look for gotcha questions, but you're just sitting there basically as a defense team for him. Oh, champ, well, I don't understand how they're saying this about you, champ. They shouldn't be saying that about you, champ. Blah, 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 blah. And then you're hearing 78, and there was another gentleman on there. They're just sitting there showering this guy with compliments to the extent where it was disturbing, man, seeing another grown man just gush all over another grown man. It was actually disturbing. If I'm being talked to by somebody and another, especially by another man, and they're just riding my dick that hard, man, I got to look at that dude and say, man, are you okay, man? Is there something wrong with you? There's got to be something wrong with another man if he's going to ride another man's dick that hard, man. I just got to be honest. He's going to ride another man's jock that hard. Something's not right with that. But then I'm watching as 78's gassing him up. Yeah, champ, champ, yeah. Right? And I'm seeing Deontay Wilder's eyes light up. I'm seeing him smile like he just hit the lottery. He was just so happy to get all that praise and admiration, right? So to me, it looks like Deontay Wilder is looking for these little things to kind of give himself confidence, right? When you're constantly putting yourself in an environment where everyone's just complimenting you and telling you all the things you want to hear, you're looking for reinforcement from other people. You're looking for validation from other people, right? And it just seems to me like he's going out of his way to look for ways to build up his confidence. And when you're constantly showing like training footage on Instagram, and I know all fighters do it from time to time, but he's doing a lot of it now. And the training footage they're showing you is all pad work. Like they're putting him in once again in a controlled environment where he can look good. All we're seeing him do is hitting pads. And that's like the easiest thing to do from a boxing. Like when you watch these novice people who want to pick up the sport of boxing, right? The first thing they do is put you on the pads because they can control, they can guide you, tell you the punches they want you to throw. They can make it look good. Smack, smack. Like that's the best exercise to do to make a fighter look good, right? It's like when we used to I used to play street hockey, right? I used to play goalie. And a lot of times, like we'd be warming up and guys would be taking shots at you, right? Just to get you warmed up. But they would always like shoot it at you, like, and then they would be like telling you where they're going to shoot the puck. So when the other team could, watch you warm up, it looked like you're making all those saves, and it's like, wow, this guy's good. He's blocking all their shots. So that's what like my team used to try to do to me, like during warm-ups. They weren't trying to score on me. They were just trying to get me warmed up and shoot the ball at my, at my glove or my waffle or my pads to make me look good, right? This is the impression that I'm getting watching Deontay Wilder hit the pads and seeing Malik Scott, like when Deontay Wilder throws the right hand, he's going like this with his right arm to try to make it look like Wilder's hitting like extremely hard, and then you hear Malik Scott say, "Oh, I'm working with him on the pads, and I never felt anyone hit as hard." It's just like it's a constant cheerleading hype man session. And then every time Deontay Wilder's going on these interviews, like with 78 or Barbershop, whatever, right? He's got Malik Scott right there as a hype man, right? Now we see fighters do interviews with the trainers once in a while, but like every video an interview he's doing right now, he's got Malik Scott right there to be the hype man for him, right? So this looks to me like a guy who's going out of his way to really try to psych himself up, right? So then he gets on a bench and he's maxing, like trying to, he's putting up the 310. It looked real awkward the way he was doing it. It didn't look like natural the way he was doing it. It looked like he's going like this and that. And mind you, this guy's just coming off a torn bicep, right? How anyone would allow him to get on a bench and do a 1-rep max, right? Going into the biggest fight of his life where he could tear a pec or re-injure that bicep tendon. That's like the stupidest thing ever. So he's telling you, oh, well, Fury muscled me in the first fight, right? Fury was the guy that mauled me on the inside. He was the guy that out-muscled me on the inside. He was the guy that imposed his weight and strength on me, right? He weighed 270. So I'm pushing 310 on a bench. And he's like, you think Fury's going to just sit there and allow you to like push him? Fury's going to be moving. He's going to be leaning on you. That weight is a controlled weight. And you're sitting there arching his back. Like he could have injured himself, right? He looked so unnatural and uncomfortable doing that exercise, right? It wasn't like he took it down and shot it. Like when you take it down, you go, and you thrust up. He's sitting there pulling it down slow, and he's like, and they're helping him put. He could have re-injured himself, man. So that's another thing that he's trying to use for confidence. Like, oh, if I could push 310 up, I could push this 270-pound guy off me. And it's not the same thing, guys. It's not the same. It's not the same thing. It's just not the same thing. So Fury did all the talking beforehand, did the talking at the press conference. Now it's fight time, right? Now it's time for the talking to be over. But now this is the time Deontay Wilder wants to talk. So in my opinion, it's like he's putting himself in these controlled environments with these YouTubers that are going to gas him up, tell him the things he wants to hear, right? That's what they're doing, right? And he's got all these guys just gassing him up. He's posting all these videos. And usually when you post those training videos, you're fishing for compliments, bro. You're fishing for compliments because now all his minions and his cult members, right? All his minions and his cult members, they're all leaving all those, oh, you look great, champ. Oh, champ's going to get him. Champ's going to knock him out. Like, it's just, I don't know, man. Like, I think there's a confidence issue going on right now with Deontay Wilder, in my opinion. I think he's constantly looking to try to have people reinforce his confidence, right? He's looking for validation right now. He really is. Really is. And who knows if he was depressed or not. There's no one can say for sure during that hiatus if he was depressed or not. I'm sure that there must have been days where he thought about, fuck, I lost that fight. I got not. Yeah. I mean, we're human, right? When something bad happens to us, obviously we don't want to dwell on it. We don't want to let it defeat us. We don't want to let it weigh us down constantly. But I'm sure there was moments where that crossed his mind, like, he wasn't feeling good about that. But I'm not going to say he was like in a deep state of depression where he was like sleeping all day, couldn't get out of the bed. Who knows, right? But one thing I strongly suspect is he had to rebuild his confidence up. Like his confidence was shaken, right? You're sitting there saying to yourself, I'm throwing my right hand at this guy and he's just rolling it, right? And this guy was supposed to be pillow fisted, but he hurt me, man. This was a guy that I didn't think could hurt me. Now I know he could hurt me, So definitely his confidence, I believe, was shaken, in my opinion. I can't say definitely, but I strongly believe that his confidence was shaken. And then you got Malik Scott on there during the interview saying, oh, well, if someone wants to interview us, we got to vet them. We got to make sure they didn't say nothing bad about the champ, blah, 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 blah. And then, if people want to say all these guys that, used to be cool with us, but now, well, there's one guy used to be cool with us, but now, he's, all of a sudden he's gone off the deep end. He's screaming and yelling, cussing us out, blah, 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 blah. All he had to do was give us a phone call. We could have talked it up. That's bullshit, man. I'm just going to say that's bullshit because I know that that's not the case. These guys are upset. It's not, and I get what Malik Scott was saying. Like you can say, hey, you know what? I think Fury's going to win. But then when you sit there and say, oh, well, Fury's going to kick the fuck out of Wilder, like Wilder got like I understand what he's saying. Like you can just say, you don't have to shit on a guy when you say the other guy is going to beat him. He's perfect. He's 100% correct there. I get that. But not everybody's doing that. Like if you just say one thing, like Paulie Malignaggi never, when he said Deontay Wilder lost the fight, he didn't say, oh, Deontay Wilder got his ass kicked. Deontay Wilder, looked like this. He wasn't insulting him. He just said, I thought Fury won the fight. And Deontay Wilder attacked him and the Showtime crew. Steve Farhood scored the fight for Fury too. Like nobody disrespected Wilder during that broadcast. But once again, Wilder attacked everybody on there. And I don't know if it's true or not, but the rumors are, according to Paulie Malignaggi, that Wilder wanted to get him fired. And then when we heard Wilder talk shit about Paulie Malignaggi several times. We're hearing Wilder just talk shit about these guys. And it's not because these guys come at him sideways. It really isn't. Because Jamal and Jamel, all they did was say, hey, I don't think race had anything to do with it. Well, Jamel said, I don't think race had anything to do with it. I think Fury just beat him on the night. And Jamal, I think, said, I don't think Fury cheated, right? And he went in on these guys. And originally Chris Colbert just said, hey, Fury won. And then the second interview, Chris Colbert kind of went raw on him. But again, originally Paulie Malignaggi and Chris Colbert, all they did was say, hey, I think Wilder lost the fight, blah, blah, blah. And then all the fans start attacking him and then Wilder starts taking shots at him. So then when they start more and more talking about it, if they're going to, thing is this, right? If you're met with hostility, right, you're going to, more often than not, we're men, we got testosterone. If someone's going to attack us, then we're going to go back and attack them. So initially, like you're hearing Malik Scott say, oh, well, I come in peace and I expect everyone else to come in peace. Dude, all these dudes did do it initially was give their opinion. But once you give your opinion and you're attacked for giving your opinion, of course you're going to clap back, right? So Paulie started clapping back and saying shit like, oh, Fury's going to eviscerate him, this, that, and the third. Because what do you expect Paulie to do once Wilder's like talking all this shit about him? Oh, well, this is a race thing, and all this, that, and the third, taking shots at Paulie just for saying that he lost the fight. Yo, these dudes are sensitive, man. Let's just be real about it. These dudes are sensitive. And you could just see that the behavior, they're only going to be around people who are going to gas them up, who are going to be cheerleaders for them, right? They're looking for hype men. This dude Wilder, with all due respect, he's looking for yes men and hype men around him. He don't want to be criticized. And you heard Malik Scott say it himself. This Deontay Wilder is stubborn. When you're dealing with a stubborn person, no matter what you tell that person, they always gonna be right. When you got the trainer telling you the fighter I'm working with is stubborn, right? And then when Fury's like, well, he's stubborn here, and I can't, I kind of want him to talk here, but he do what he do. He got his thing about him, right? That was what he said. I'm paraphrasing a little bit. He goes, but Deontay got his thing about him, right? So Deontay got his thing about him, right? But in the gym, he ain't like that. I mean, come on, man. If he's gonna be like that with that, something small like that, imagine how he's gonna be in the gym. If all you're doing is showing us every piece of training footage, just showing us him on the pads, which is another controlled environment in which you can make a fighter look good because you can smack the glove. You can have the guy could throw a punch at you and you can be like boom, boom. Dude, when I used to, work with these chicks that I wanted to get with at the gym and shit, right? And they see me working out boxing or whatever, because we had like a little boxing section, right? So every now and then, like a little honey dip would come up to you, say, "Hey, can you show me how to throw punches?" When I used to get them on the pads and shit, I used to gas them up and shit just so I'll try to get with them, some of them, right? Oh, wow, you're good. You're like, and that makes them want to train with you again. Like, you know what I'm saying? You're trying to build up their confidence so they'll come back and train with you again, right? So that's the easiest exercise to make someone look like a superstar. Put them on the pads. Boom, 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 boom. That's the easiest way to make someone look good, right? So that's what I used to do with these chicks. Like I used to get them on the pads. Oh, you got a good right hand, honey. Wow, look at that, man. Just to make and I'd be gassing these chicks up just because I wanted to get with them, right? Back in the day, right? That's what Malik Scott is doing with Wilder. Like, he's on the pads. Yeah, champ. Yeah, champ. Yeah, champ. Like, and he once again, giving him all the space in the world. Let him extend. No, you need to get up close. You need to crowd this dude. You need to work. I'm not seeing any work on the inside game. I'm not seeing him showing him, hey, okay, champ, you got to get in there. Pop, 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 pop. Step out. Pivot off to the side. Like, I'm not seeing any escape routes after combinations. I'm not seeing any of that shit. Right? I'm not seeing Malik Scott throwing shit back, having him react to it. Well, wow, okay, so Fury's going to be throwing that, he's going to be throwing that right hand at you. What you got to do? You got to catch and shoot. Like, he's not showing him any tactics, bro. They're doing the same punch sequences over and over again. We're not seeing any variety. We're watching this guy basically throw 1-2s. That's it. Then they're putting, that's a good point, JC. Then they're going, like, they're actually, Malik Scott and Deontay Wilder, they're putting the word king before their name. Like, what is that, bro? That's like fantasy. Like you're like a king. Like, I'm a king. Malik's a king. Like, fucking Wilder's a king. Like, again, like, who a king rules above everybody, right? A king basically is a guy who puts himself above everybody else, right? That's what king, like, that's a monarchy, right? So you got all these dudes calling themselves kings, right? Who are they leading? You can't have all these kings running around, right? Someone got to be the leader, right? Who's the leader? Who's the leader? So Fury's been quiet. He did all his talking beforehand. Now it's fight time. He seemed like he's serious. He's doing his thing. And I'm seeing Wilder just going on these softball interviews. All of a sudden, he basically saying, I'm going to talk to the people who I want to talk to, the people who are going to tell me what I want to hear. I'm going to do the training that I feel like I enjoy doing. This is just a controlled environment. When you're in the ring, that is not a controlled environment. You can't control always what your opponent is going to do to you. You got to impose your will and you got to impose your tactics and skills on that guy, right? And if you're constantly just working on your strengths and you're not doing anything to work on your weaknesses, if you think by doing a 1 rep max with 310 pounds is going to make you be able to push this 275-pound man off you, right? When he's leaning on you and he's pushing you back, because the bar is not pushing you. You're controlling the bar. You can't control always somebody who's putting their weight on you and pushing you. They controlling you, right? Fury's not going to just sit there and let you push him like that barbell did. Fury's not just going to stand there like those pads and let you hit him like Malik Scott is letting you do, right? So once again, this is a guy who's putting himself in controlled environments where he feels safe, where he feels comfortable. But guess what? That ring is not a comfort zone all the time. You're going to be pushed. There's going to be adversity in there, right? There's going to be adversity, right? And we know Deontay Wilder is a fighter. We know this is a guy that puts his life on the line when he goes in that ring, right? We know that. He does something that I could never do, or most of us out there wouldn't even attempt to do. So we give him credit for that. There's a degree of courage, a high degree of courage that it takes to get in that ring. We get that. We understand that. He was a heavyweight champ of the world. Can't take none of this. Nothing can be taken away from Deontay Wilder. Nothing. But if I'm just supposed to sit here and just pretend I'm not seeing red flags, I'm supposed to sit here, right? And I'm just supposed to say positive things, right? I'm supposed to just say positive things. I'm not supposed to be the least bit constructively critical of this man, right? I mean, I can't do that. That's why, again, I'm going to say this. I could never do this full time, bro, because if I just said, oh, I don't think this guy's going to win, and then the dude is going to shut me off just because I don't think he's going to win. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. You know? That's why, like, these controlled environments, man, they're a red flag, bro. They're a red flag. So, I mean, this is what I'm seeing. I'm seeing all of a sudden, we're seeing the same types of training footage, and we're seeing Malik Scott do all these things to try to gas Deontay Wilder up. And now all the interviews that Deontay Wilder's on, he's got Malik Scott by his side. It's almost like Chuck D and Flavor Flav when Chuck D be doing his raps and shit, and you got Flavor going, "Yeah, Chuck, yeah, get him, boy." That's like Malik Scott. Like, Malik Scott is the hype man, bro. He's like the hype man. All right. We don't want nobody around us that ain't gonna be loyal. You got to listen to this language, bro. Like, loyalty, like once you are with us, you got to give us blind loyalty, man. You can't say anything that's the least bit critical, or you out. You're out. You're out. And then like when Wilder would like shut his cam off, he'd be like turning his cam off and going like this, right? You know what you would see in the corner, like the left-hand corner, he had like a little LDBC logo. Like he's officially joined LDBC. Like, he's part of this cult, bro. He's part of this cult. It's crazy. It's crazy that a man that was once heavyweight champion of the world, right? Baddest man on the planet. Like, he needs these guys to build him up, right? He needs like guys on YouTube, right? These regular guys on YouTube. He's like he's looking for validation from these guys, bro. He needs these guys' approval, right? He's feeding off of all this, right? But it's false. It's not real. You're telling this it's like when you're going out with a girl, maybe, and probably she put on a few pounds or whatever, and then she's in the mirror wearing that dress that used to make her look nice, and she's had the little curves and shit, right? Then she got in a little rut. She put on some weight, right? And she looking in the mirror, and she put the dress back on, and she's like, "How do I look, honey? Did you think I put on any weight?" She knows she put on the weight. That's why she's asking you, "Do you think I put on any weight?" But you can't say you put on any weight, because once you say, "Oh yeah, you put on some weight," she's gonna shut you off for a couple of months, right? You ain't gonna get nothing, right? She's gonna hold that against you, right? That's like Deontay Wilder. Like, he needs constant reinforcement from these guys on YouTube, right? He needs constant reinforcement from these guys on YouTube. And if he doesn't get it, then he's just going to shut whoever doesn't give it to him. He's going to shut him off. This is narcissism at its highest level. And these guys are just feeding him with the narcissistic supply, bro. When you putting the word king in front of your name, like you putting yourself up on a level like above everybody else, like you trying to say like you're a leader, like you're a god, you're a ruler. The word king is like a ruler. So who are you ruling over? Who's Malik Scott ruling over, right? Are you guys basically the leader of a cult? You know? So when you hear Malik Scott say, oh, you can't say anything bad about us, and then when people call us up for interviews, yo, I'm just gonna shut my mouth because I could say so much. But all I'm telling you is Malik Scott is totally disingenuous, man. Totally disingenuous, because I can go down the list. I can go down a list of people that just said, I think Fury won the fight, and I think Fury's going to win the third fight. And they got shut off just for that. Nobody insulted. There's a lot of dudes that just gave their opinion about Wilder, and they got shut off. I'm just going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you that. Think about it. The whole press got shut off, right? Everybody got shut off. He's only talking to the LDBC, and he's talking to the supporters here on YouTube. He's only talking to his minions, right? So you mean to tell me everybody? It's not a coincidence. He's only talking to the people who are showering him with compliments. He's only talking to the people who are saying positive things about him. He's only talking to the people. Name one person he did an interview with recently that picked Fury to beat him. He's only talking to people who have picked him to beat Fury. He's only talking to people who believe that Fury cheated. He's not talking to anybody else. And that's his right. He can do whatever the fuck he wants. I'm not saying he got to do anything. But I'm going to assess the behavior, the behavioral pattern. So it's not Malik Scott's like, oh, well, you don't have to tell, we don't care if you think that. No, you do care. You do care if people say that Fury's going to win. You do care because you're not talking to anyone else who doesn't believe that Wilder's going to win the fight. There's a pattern, bro. Behavior is proof. You are shutting everyone out that isn't picking Wilder to win the third fight and doesn't think that Fury cheated in the second fight and doesn't think that Wilder won the first fight. It is a pattern, bro. It's a pattern. You want to be in controlled environments where you know what the narrative is going to be and you can control the narrative and people are going to feed your narrative. You only want to be around people who are going to feed your narrative. Yo, and if that make, and then, people are saying, well, if that's going to make him better, then that's good. But I don't know, man. Is that really good? Is it really good if people have to lie to you and pretend to be a certain way just to make you confident about yourself, bro? Because as Teddy Atlas says, the truth is revealed once you get in that ring. So if everyone's telling you that what you're doing is great and you're not working on any of your weaknesses and you're not prepared to deal with this guy on the inside, you're not prepared to deal with the physical strength of this guy on the inside, and you're just working on drills where Malik Scott's 3.5 feet away from you and letting you extend it on all the punches you throw in, and every punch you throw in, he's like smack, boom, making you look like you're fucking, Iron Fist from fucking the Defenders and shit. Every punch you throw and you fucking pads going flying off his hand and shit. It's stupid, bro. How is that making you better? It's a false projection of the truth. Yeah, I talked about the bench press. I talked about the bench press already. I mean, again, it was the dumbest thing. It was the dumbest thing you could ever do. Putting a guy under 310 like that, where he could re-injure or re-tear his bicep tendon or tear his pec or something like that. It looked so awkward. I went over that. It looked so awkward and unnatural the way he put that weight up there. It was stupid. It was dumb. And once again, that was a way of him to try to build up his confidence, thinking that, because I could push this 310 barbell up there, I'm going to be able to push this 275-pound man off me. But again, that's a controlled weight. That bar is just laying there. Fury's not going to just lay there and allow you to push him. He's going to be pushing back. That barbell's not pushing you back. Those pads aren't hitting you back. So once again, you're in a controlled environment. And boxing is not a controlled environment all the time. You're getting pushback from your opponent who's standing across the other side of the ring from you. He's there to not allow you to do the things that you like to do, that you want to do, right? So I'm not seeing anything in training, right, that is giving me any indication that I'm going to see a different Deontay Wilder come July 24th. The footwork, he still looks kind of robotic with the footwork. He looks stiff a little bit. It just looks like he's forcing everything, bro. I'm just being honest. I'm being honest. And then I'm supposed to believe that one punch is just the one punch that couldn't change the fight in the first fight, the one punch that couldn't change the fight in the second fight, and all of a sudden, miraculously, it's going to change the fight in the third fight. Fury is timing that right hand. He's rolling it now. Even that punch in the 12th round of the first fight, Fury rolled that, right? So I believe Wilder was not 100% in that second fight. I believe his left bicep tendon was messed up, right? I believe that he was sick, under the weather. I believe all that, right? I believe all that. So you can make an argument. In my opinion, I think Wilder was probably maybe at 70%. But I also said in the first fight with Fury, going in, and I said Fury's probably at 70%. This is a dude just lost 140 pounds, right? He fought 2 tune-ups and he's jumping right into this fight with Wilder. He wasn't 100% in that first fight, right? And he still won the fight, in my opinion, right? So if this guy could be 75% and still beat Wilder, right? And then he goes into the second fight, and I believe he was 100%, you know? So he's going to be even better in the third fight. Now, Wilder's going to be better too, but is that going to be enough? I don't think it's going to be enough. I don't think it's going to be enough, guys. I just don't think it's going to be enough. So now all of a sudden, Wilder's talking a lot. Now all of a sudden, the radio silence is over. Now we're seeing more and more training footage being put up there. And the reason why I believe all this is because he's putting himself in controlled environments where these situations where he's going to be able to gain confidence. He's looking for validation from his fans. And, you know, he's going on these platforms that are going to continue to gas him up. And it's all it is he's just looking for a lot of positive reinforcement, right? Regardless if it's warranted or not, he just wants to continue to hear positive things, no matter what happens or what happened. It wasn't your fault, champ. You weren't at your best. That's why that happened. Like there's always going to be an alibi that these guys are going to give him. Oh, well, Fury cheated, champ. Like they're just never, ever, ever going to say the slightest thing that could have been done wrong by Wilder in that second fight. Like if no one is telling you, like when we hear Malik Scott talk, right? When we hear Malik Scott talk, all he's saying is, well, he had an off night. You're not hearing about like, well, he should have done this, he should have done that. This is why I think he lost, because he did this instead of doing that. We're not hearing they're not telling us, or Wilder's not telling us. Usually when a fighter loses, sometimes you'll hear him say, well, you know what? I stayed in the pocket with him too long. I slugged it out. I should have been more defensively responsible. I should have used my jab more. Like when someone loses, you always hear them say stuff like that. Like they don't think they did anything wrong. The reason why they lost is because Fury cheated, right? So you don't have to. So they're basically telling you that they don't have to correct anything. The only reason why we lost is because Fury cheated. The only why we lost is because we weren't 100%. We weren't right. It wasn't our fault. It wasn't our fault. That's why we lost. Nothing we did wrong. So if you lost because of nothing you did wrong, then what are you going to correct? What are you going to correct? Thank you so much, Alexander Wilson. He says boxing's version of 1984. Correct. So they're not taking ownership at all for the loss. Malik Scott is just dismissing it as an off night. So what if he has an off night again? Is it out of the realm of possibility that he has an off night again? No one's asking him. So what if he has an off night again? What is the plan B? No one's asking him. Well, if a situation like that arises that happened in the 7th round where it appeared that Wilder was hurt and could no longer defend himself when he was way behind on the scorecards and he was just getting, suffering so much punishment Are you willing to pull the plug like Mark Breland did? What would you do if you're in a Mark Breland situation? No one's asking him those types of questions. And that's not an insult. That's not an insulting question. That's not like you're not saying anything derogatory. You're not saying anything hostile. You're not coming at him sideways. You're asking him legitimate questions, right? Asking him legitimate questions. No, you need to believe that people are mad because that's what you want. You want to believe that it's the world against Wilder. I mean, there's got to be a reason. There's got to be something he did wrong in that second fight. It's got to be something he did wrong in that second fight for him to have lost. It couldn't have all been Fury cheating. It couldn't have all been, well, I wasn't myself. You have to take ownership. You probably did not do the things you were supposed to do. You have to be able to self-reflect and say, you know what? I should have done this. I should have done that. I need to do this next time. I need to do that next time. If you're not taking any ownership, if you lost and it was no fault of your own, then you're not gonna correct anything. Yo, they mad. Why are they mad? They mad at the press because the press don't tell them everything they want to hear. So if you don't tell me what I want to hear, then I ain't gonna talk to you, bro. Imagine walking around all day having people kissing your ass 24/7. Imagine going through life like that, bro. Nobody's that perfect, bro. Nobody's that perfect. You're gonna sit there and tell me that Wilder did nothing wrong technically in that second fight. Like there was nothing that Wilder did wrong as a reason why he lost that fight. It wasn't nothing. There was no fault of Wilder at all for losing that second fight. Come on, bro. You can't keep gassing somebody up, bro. You have to be able to say, hey, man, maybe you should have done this. Maybe you should have done that. I talk to people all the time, bro. All these people that I do, all these people, yeah, he gets constant praise from the LDBC. You've never said one, be objective. Have you ever said anything critical of Wilder? You come on this channel time and time again, and I've given you a platform to talk. You've never said one negative thing about Wilder at all. You've never said, hey, well, Wilder lost this fight because of this, because of that. He should have done this. He should have done that. He needs to work on this. He needs to work on that. None of y'all said that. Your excuse for Wilder losing the second fight is because Fury cheated. There was nothing wrong with his tactics. There was nothing technically he did wrong. So if you're going to be around people that are going to constantly tell you, hey, you really didn't lose, champ. You lost because this guy cheated. You lost because you was a little bit under the weather. You lost because of the ref. You lost because of white privilege. This is a constant lie because there's several. Juan Manuel Marquez always shits on Canelo. Julio Cesar Chavez always used to criticize Canelo. When Canelo popped positive for clenbuterol, there was a ton of Mexicans that called him out for it. So once again, we're going to play the game about the whataboutisms because you don't want to deal with the issue. You don't want to deal with the issue of the cheerleaders. I'm going to say one. Why did Wilder lose the second fight? What is your reason why? Now watch his response is going to be because Fury cheated. Okay, so Wilder has nothing to work on then. There's nothing. Why would he change his tactics if the only reason why he lost the second fight? Why would he have to change his tactics? What does he have to improve on if he did nothing wrong and he only lost because of the cheating? That's all. That's all. So Wilder should have punched Fury in the nuts when Fury put him in a headlock and choked him. That's my complaint on Wilder. All right. I don't know if he's going to get away. I think he needs to come with something more than that. See what he's doing? This is all going to be whataboutisms. He thinks that Wilder was flawless in both fights, and he only lost because Fury cheated. So then, you know what? Wilder's gonna lose worse in the third fight if he fights the same way as he fought in the first two fights. Because Fury got his number now. If they ain't trying to change up tactics and they just doing the same thing over and over again, why wouldn't black people be biased to Wilder? He's black. We ain't worried about black. We ain't worried about Mexican. We ain't worried about anything, bro. What we worried about is being real. You can't go around riding a man's dick 24/7. Nobody is perfect, bro. Nobody. You telling me Wilder's, so basically you tell me Wilder's perfect. That's it. You won't. I asked this dude right here. Look at this dude. I asked him, name one thing Wilder did wrong in the first two fights. Can't do it. You know why? Because he's a cult member. He swore blind loyalty to this man. He swore blind loyalty to this man. No, stay on topic. You changing the topic. LDBC, JCC, Juan Wema Marquez, what other Mexicans? I know tons of Mexicans that have criticized. I can tell you them. D-Style has been critical of Canelo over the years. Eric Lauder, who's Mexican, has been critical of Canelo over the years. I know a lot of Mexicans, a lot of Hispanic people that have been critical of Canelo over the years. But again, you haven't answered my question. You haven't answered my question. Do I have to eat you again, Beeb? Again, now it's about me. I'm not fighting July 24th. You ain't got to do shit to me. I'm gonna be sitting here safely in my house. I ain't taking the punches. Why you want to fight me? Why you want to fight me? Why you want to come at me? I'm not fighting. I asked you to say one critical thing about Wilder. Do you think so? You don't think Wilder did anything wrong? Answer my fucking question. If you don't answer my question, then you basically a cult member. Again, you brand new on here, bro. We've been doing this shit since 2009, bro. Again, see how he refuses to say one critical thing about Wilder because he's afraid to, because he swore blind loyalty. He'll get thrown out of the LDBC, right? If this dude right here, he's an LDBC member, he has to stay on code. He has to stay on code. If he don't stay on code, he's gonna get thrown out. He's gonna get thrown out. That's right. He's a deflector. He's gonna get thrown out. So Wilder, the only reason why Wilder lost the first two fights is because Fury cheated. So guess what? There's nothing he's got to do differently then. He can go in there the same way he fought the first two fights, do the same things, and he's just got to hope and pray that Fury don't cheat again. He will never answer the Wilder's the most hated boxer today, and y'all mad Wilder didn't talk about Matt. I'll ask him one last time. I'm going to put it here in the chat. What did Wilder do wrong in the first two fights? Why do you think he lost? What does he need to do to win the third fight? Here you go. That's I need that question answered. I need that question answered. That's what I need. That's what I need. That's what I need. Just answer the question. What does Wilder need to do in the third fight to win? What tactical changes needs to get made for him to win? Because he's going back to the same commission that allowed Fury to cheat. So if that commission is in bed with them, is in bed with Fury, and they allowed Fury to cheat in the second fight, and they're going to go right back to that commission, there's a chance that they're going to allow him to cheat again, according to you guys, right? Why would it be different? Why would it be different? How are we going to do the third fight? We're team. Let's be hypothetical. You and I are Team Wilder right now. We're in the corner, right? We're in the corner. How are we going to win this third fight?
Wait. That wasn't the question.
That's my question. That's my question. How are we going to win this third fight? That's my question. That's my question. You answer my question, and I'll answer 300 of yours. You answer my one question, I'll answer 300 of yours. That's the deal.
One question, because you just switched by the time in the
I don't
chat.
switch nothing. I don't switch nothing. This is my question. What does Wilder have to do differently to win this third fight? And what did he do wrong in the second fight to make him lose? Why did he lose the second fight? What was wrong about his tactics in the second fight that caused him to lose the second fight? What does he got to do differently to win the third fight? That's all I want to know.
So you didn't ask about the first fight?
That's all I want to know. That's all I want to know. I'm not worried about the first fight right now. We're gonna stay on the second fight and the third fight.
All right. So the first question: what did he do wrong in the second fight?
Yep.
Well, the second fight, to be honest, like I told you before, he didn't look his best. Whether he was sick, whether his water was spiked, that was the worst Wilder ever seen.
Okay.
From the time he took his mask off to when the referee stopped the fight. And I mean, he's had 43 fights. That's the worst one I've seen. I don't think that's the same Wilder that's going to show up in the third fight. So if that is, hey, so maybe he needs to watch his team a little closer this time.
So no tactics, no tactical changes for the third fight.
I'm not finished.
My bad.
Well, maybe first off, he needs to watch his team a little closer.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right.
He gave the guy he gave Fury the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
You know, he was wrong. You know, something was going on, whether it was with Bob Arum or whatever. Something was up with the water. Tyson Fury knew something. There's video of him denying water. Where'd it come from? No, I don't want that water. He needs to watch out. Yeah. Another thing he needs to do in the third fight that he didn't do in the first two fights is, yes, he needs to work the body and use combinations like I've been seeing him do. The guys who have dropped him have not always been the biggest punchers, but they've worked punches in bunches. They've stayed busy. He needs to stay busy. He needs to stay off the ropes. That was two things he did in the second fight that he should have done.
Okay.
And a third thing he should be able to do, is he needs to get his timing a little better, because Fury's coming in with that jab. He's coming in with that jab, and speed alone isn't going to outrun a jab. He needs to time that jab, because Fury's trying to time that jab. I think he's coming in with a stiff jab this fight, and I think he needs to get his timing down of how Fury's trying to work during this third fight, because he needs to, it's going to take a round or two or three or four to figure out what Fury's tactic is, if it's the same or if it's different. But he needs to not worry. He knows he wasn't the best in the second fight. So I don't think that's going to count towards his confidence. It might even it might work the other way as far as confidence works, in my opinion. But that I think we both can agree that was the worst Wilder we ever saw in that second fight.
I don't think he was right. I think there was something wrong. I knew it.
Even if there wasn't.
No, there was. I think there was. I think there was.
That was the worst Wilder we've ever seen in any of his fights. And I'm a betting man. I don't bet that same Wilder is going to show up 2 fights in a row.
Well, did he look good in the first fight?
He looked better. Like he was Wilder.
He looked better.
And that was the first time he fought Fury.
But was that the best version of Fury in that first fight?
When there's a debate about who won the fight in the first fight, because there's still a debate.
Correct.
I mean, he at least held his own. That was a version of Wilder that wasn't the best. His boxing tactics weren't the best in the first fight, but that power was there, and that timing with the power was there, because he was able to drop Fury twice. You know what I mean?
Sure. Sure.
So it was still there. As far as his boxing ability, he's gonna have to bring more of that to the table in this third fight. He's gonna have to work. He's gonna have to work. He's gonna have to use footwork like crazy because I still think Fury's coming to lean on him. I still think Fury's coming to lean and use that weight to wear him out, like Klitschko used to do his opponent.
Do
So
you do you suspect that there's going to be cheating in the third fight because there was cheating in the second fight, according to you? They're going back to the same commission that allowed him to cheat.
like
That
my
allowed
point.
him to cheat. They allowed him to cheat in the second fight. This commission, according. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I do you think that the commission allowed him to cheat in the second fight?
To be honest, I think he gave him the benefit of the doubt because the first fight there was a glove controversy, but it wasn't brought up until after the second fight. He gave the guy a benefit of the doubt
Yeah.
because he wasn't working with Bob Arum before. And, I really think Bob Arum has something to do with a lot to do with a lot of shit. And this second fight was just a whole bunch of funny business going on. And I don't think Wilder's going to give anyone the benefit of the doubt anymore after, what I'm saying, his suspicion.
So the commission allowed the gloves to be suspect. Are they going to allow the gloves to be suspect in the third fight? Is what I'm asking you. If they allowed it to go on in the second fight, are they going to do anything? How is it? How do you guys have? And I don't like to just make blanket statements here. How do you guys?
The commission's not going to protect you. The commission is not going to protect you. It's up to Wilder's team to be.
How did they protect Fury though? How did they protect Fury from not being caught cheating then? How did they allow Fury to cheat?
What do you mean? It happens. The commission doesn't catch anyone.
So they just missed it. So they just missed it. It was the commission made a mistake, right? You're saying they just missed it?
The commission missed it.
All right. If that's your stance, that's your stance. I'm not here to change your mind. So is there a chance that the commission can miss it again?
Oh yes.
So you guys, are you worried? Is Team Wilder worried that he could cheat again? And what are they prepared to do if he decides to cheat again?
I'm not worried.
You're not worried?
I'm saying that Wilder.
But this is a guy, according to you, has been a cheater his whole life. So what's going to stop him from cheating in the third fight?
Nothing.
So what is the tactics if he decides to load the gloves again? What if instead, if he doesn't even bring egg weights this time, what if he puts lead pipe? What if he takes like a small lead pipe and puts it in each glove? How's that gonna be prevented?
Wilder's team's gonna have to find any way he can. I mean, come on. Malik Scott is not a Hall of Fame fighter. Okay, it's not like he doesn't know about what goes on in boxing. You got to surround yourself with people who know the sport, know the game. If Wilder has put himself with the right people, he should be fine. When there's cheating caught, when people cheat, it's not caught by the commission, it's caught by other people's teams. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's got to keep a tight ship, and everything's a risk. He's still taking a risk. You know what I'm saying? He's still taking a risk.
So who wins this third fight?
I want to say Wilder. I want to say Wilder because of the simple fact that Wilder knows that something was wrong with him in the second fight, and he's coming to fight. He ain't had nothing else to do but to think about Tyson Fury. He wants this fight. Fury tried to get out of the fight. He made him fight the third fight. That says something about his character. I just don't think that second fight was very. It didn't define what this trilogy is really about.
Don't you think though that all along everybody knew this third fight was going to happen, and they were just delaying this until the pandemic was over so they could put the fight in front of a live gate? Is that a plausible scenario that played out here, that maybe everybody was probably in on this and everybody knew that this third fight was going to happen, when I say everybody, I'm talking about Fury, I'm talking about Wilder, I'm talking about Bob Arum, I'm talking about Frank Warren, I'm talking about Al Heyman. Didn't they all kind of know that this third fight was going to happen? Because think about this. Fury never ever signed a binding agreement with Joshua. There's a reason why he didn't do that. Like to me, everybody just played the stall tactic game. So when people say, oh, well, Fury tried to get out of the third fight, I think that was all smoke and mirrors, in my opinion. Can I prove it? No. But there's a lot of circumstantial evidence that is in my favor to make that claim. There's a lot of behavioral patterns to suggest, because why would you wait so long? You signed a letter of intent to fight this guy, but you never signed a binding agreement, and you waited almost a year and let this thing play out a year. All right. To me, because Bob Arum kept saying, well, we need to put this fight in front of a live gate. We need to put this fight in front of a live gate. I think they were just stalling until they were able to put this fight in front of a live gate. And that's why that's why they did what they did. I don't think that, maybe 6 months ago we had a discussion, and I thought that Fury and Joshua were going to fight, and you never believed that Fury and Joshua were going to fight. You knew all along too. You knew before me. But then I started. But after you said that, you made me think, and you made me do more research. Then I started interviewing Bob Arum, and he started telling on himself a little bit, right? Then I started putting the pieces together better. And I give you credit because I always tell people you were the initial guy, because I think we talked about 6 months ago, and after we talked, days after, I adopted your stance on that. I always knew the third, because you remember I kept coming on here and people were yelling at me and telling me I was negative, right? I kept saying the third fight was going to happen. I kept saying it after that. After the conversation you had with me, it made me want to do more research. And the more I dug and the more things I found, I was like, you know what? There's no way this third fight's not going to happen, because he kept telling on himself. He kept telling on himself. Every time I talked to him about 3 times after I had that conversation with you. And each time he told on himself. Oh, well, if the expiration clause expired in October, then why was he throwing out a December date? Why was he throwing out a February date?
Right.
If it already expired, then he wouldn't have been throwing out them dates. Why did he keep saying we need to put this fight in front of a live crowd? So I put the pieces together, bro. So this whole thing about Fury tried to get out of the fight, I think deep down inside, I think we both know Fury always knew he was going to fight Wilder a third time. I think we can agree on that.
I think, now stay with me, I think they all knew.
Okay, then. So you can't keep saying that Fury tried to get out of the third fight then.
I think they all knew. No, I can't say that because.
No, come on, man. You don't believe it, though. You don't believe it. You have to stay on code. I know you have to stay on code or you're going to get thrown out.
No. The reason why, okay, stay with me. The reason why, okay, it's like, all right, do I want to fight Wilder again or do I want to fight AJ? All right, well,
He's never going to fight AJ. He was never going to fight AJ.
I know I'm signed to fight Wilder, and I'll try to fight AJ. If I don't, well, I still got a Wilder fight. I'm still going to fight somebody and I'm still going to get paid. So what's the risk? You know what I mean? So he tried to fight Jay half-ass. It didn't work. You got me. All right, I'll fight you again, Wilder. But the reason why I think all 3 parties knew is because the reason why I came up here and said the fight's not happening, because Tay Jones, a Wilder camp member, was on Drew Titan was talking about it. Tay Jones was sure this fight wasn't going to happen. And Tay Jones' reasoning was because of Anthony Joshua's actions, how he wasn't saying anything about the fight whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? At first, he was very quiet. He wasn't saying anything, wasn't trash talking, wasn't doing anything. And that's what made me look at things like, damn, all 3 of these cats probably know.
I'm going to drop a truth bomb on you right now. And this is people don't understand this, and they can say whatever they want. Everyone's talking about all that money that Saudi put up. We still don't know the exact amount of money that fucking Saudi put up. That's number one. And number 2, this fight right here, without the pandemic, with the pandemic being over, in my opinion, this is going to sound extremely controversial, but this is my opinion, and I'm going to stand on it. This fight right here with all the restrictions taken off, with people being able, I'm not sure if the UK travel ban is over yet, but I know that they're going to sell this fight out. And I know this is going to do great numbers pay-per-view. And I even believe UK people is going to buy this fight. So they're saying they're not, they're going to buy it. Because the pandemic is over now, this fight is bigger than a Joshua Fury fight would have been under the pandemic conditions. So now, that's what I'm trying to say, because now you have the pandemic over. So that the conditions for this fight to take place are optimal now. They weren't optimal before, right? The conditions for Fury Joshua were not optimal, because that's another fight that doesn't make sense under the pandemic, because you can't. How are the UK fans going to travel to Saudi if there's a UK travel ban? Like you're leaving dollar. The fight with the winner of this fight, if they fight Joshua, it's going to be 10 times bigger down the like if it happens in 2022 than it would have been if it happened in 2021. There's no fucking question in my mind. So it's a numbers game. Hold on for 1 second. Let me read this this super chat. The commission missed Margarito hand wraps how many times? Shane Mosley trainer did a better job than the commission. Yeah, you could say that. You could say that. Yep. But what people don't know about the Margarito situation is the reason why the red flag in that was he had that pad, he had that gauze pad, and it was bigger. It was bigger than the regulations allowed, and it had more tape on it than the regulations allowed. So it was like a cast-like substance in there. You know what I'm saying? It was a cast-like substance in there, and Naseem Richardson caught it.
Yeah,
Naseem Richardson caught it. So that's true.
And they had practice, just like Fury has been reported, practicing and everything. Hold on, give me 1 second.
Yeah, because I got to break out in about 5 minutes anyway, so we're gonna have to end it real quick because I got to jet out of here. But yeah, the commission, that's a correct statement. That's a correct statement. But we don't know if the commission would have missed it, because again, the gloves are inspected after the fight too. And maybe Richardson jumped in before the commission could say anything. There's a lot of things about, but that is a correct statement. We can't disagree with that statement.
Okay. Yeah. What was your question? I'm sorry.
No, Ohio Runs Boxing was like, he said the commission missed Margarito hand wraps how many times? Shane Mosley trainer did a better job than the commission. But when you make a statement, this is a kind of deceptive statement, and I don't mean this to insult Ohio Runs Boxing, but how could the hand wraps be missed many times? That's an incorrect statement. You only wrap your hands one time. The gloves are checked multiple times. The hand wraps are checked before the fight and they're checked after the fight. They're not checked, like they're checked twice. So you can't say the commission missed multiple times. You can make a statement that they missed one time, because the hand wraps are only checked before the fight and after the fight, right? And they did an investigation on the hand wraps after the fight. So it's not like they missed multiple times. The hand wraps are only checked twice, bro. They're checked after the fighter's hands are being wrapped, or they're checked during the hand wrap procedure. They're being looked at while they're wrapping them. And then after the fight, when the wraps are cut off, they check the wraps again. So
they're talking about multiple fights, because I think Margarito's used them before.
And that was the California commission, not the Nevada commission. Those two different commissions. Yo, Stacks, I gotta break out because I gotta head off to work right now. I gotta do something, but I'll catch you later, man. I thank you for jumping on, man. I appreciate it.
All right.
Man.
Appreciate you having me.
All right, man. I'll catch up with you. Yeah, guys, I gotta break out of here, man. Thank you all for the chat. Thank you for the super chats. Thank you everybody in the chat. Maybe I can jump on later. But make sure you check us out tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern time. We got the TBV reunion with Nestor Gibbs and Ringside Robert, Eric, and myself. Will be on later tonight. But I'll catch you later, man. Everyone, take it easy, man. Have a great one. Thank you, Maestro. Peace out, everybody.